This is the Nevada Legislature 2011, brought to you by the Nevada State Telecommunications Association and Charter Communications.
Is the state of Nevada doing enough to help businesses through this tough economic times? Or are there more that we can do? Our very special guest on the program today is a man very much involved in that. He is let me get it correct, he is the Senior Chief Deputy Whip of the majority party in our state assembly, Kelvin Atkinson. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Besides that title, you have another title which I think is even more important. You are the Vice Chair of the Council of State Governments Western Division. In that group, you get to talk to a lot of lawmakers from the entire Western region, from Hawaii all the way to Wyoming. We're not in this game alone as far as tough economic times. Are we, through that experience, doing the right things?
Well, I mean, you're absolutely right. The Western region, which is Council of State Governments West, is doing a lot of things. I think it's tough for all of us. I think most of the Western states rely on tourism to boost its economy, and we're all waiting for the economy to turn back around. I think it's getting there. I think it's going. It's probably slower than people would like, but I think we're getting there.
You know, you're an individual that I've known for a long time. This is your fifth session. I remember when you first came here, you saw this as something to help your community and the community in general. The community is now crying. It's now hurting. And I know you have a couple of bills that are out there that seek to help generate jobs and help generate businesses. Is that really what needs to be done now? In light of the governor's budget, in light of the problems that we see, jobs remains a key part of this.
Jobs is the biggest thing that's going to get our state turned back around. I think that when we talk, there's a lot of talk about layoffs and all these other things, but I think the more people we have not working, it hampers our communities. I represent in the good times. I had the #1 growing district in the United States, and now we're the #1 foreclosure district in the United States. So I think jobs and the ability for people to work definitely work hand in hand, and people being able to keep their homes and stay active in our community and stay participant in spending money and helping our economy grow.
You're looking at potential tax incentives for businesses to be able to invest. A lot of governments fear those tax incentives take money out of their coffers, their ability to move and keep going. How do you balance that?
Well, I don't see it that way, and obviously the governor and we as a caucus are going to have some differences in how we get.
Do you think?
and how we get our economy turned back around. And certainly we think incentives are what's going to bring businesses here, and we're hearing that from businesses that want to relocate here. They need something. And this low tax environment no longer is what's attracting businesses here.
And so you even have a unique idea, and that is creating an inland port. That's a very unique idea to help spur business.
Absolutely. It's something we talked about last session. That was Speaker Buckley's bill, and I kind of combined some efforts in there. We met a few times in the interim, I think 3 or 4 times in the interim, to come up with suggested ideas. Inland Port was one of those that rose to the top because it does a lot of the things that we were interested in making a logistics hub in the West. I mean, Nevada has to be known for something at some point other than gaming, and we need to grow our economy outside of those industries. And so bringing an inland port here would do just that. It would make us the distribution hub of the West. If you look at Dallas, Dallas has done a great job in that, and they've produced $20 billion over 10 years. And
I know another concern of yours is texting when driving. I'd love for you to be able to stay with us tomorrow because I want to talk about that and that concern that so many people have. You can stay with us tomorrow.
Absolutely.
I'm Steve Shore. We'll see you tomorrow.
This is the Nevada Legislature 2011, brought to you by the Nevada State Telecommunications Association and Charter Communications. This is the Nevada Legislature 2011, brought to you by the Nevada State Telecommunications Association and Charter Communications.
Consider texting. I can't even text while I'm talking to you directly. That's an issue. Texting while doing anything. Imagine texting while driving. A lot of states have already taken control of that. Nevada, so far, has not. Our very special guest today is right in the middle of that controversy, Assemblyman Kelvin Atkinson. Welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
You know, here I am trying to text and think and talk at the same. It's not easy. But yet I drive down the road in almost any community in southern Nevada, and I think up here, and you see people either on the phone while they're driving, or even worse, is texting while they're driving. It's a danger.
It absolutely is, and the administration, D.C., definitely wants states to be a little more active in doing something to come up with legislation.
Hold back money.
Or they're going to take money. I mean, they've made that very clear. Secretary LaHood of Transportation has made it very clear that they're going to take states' funding, and we all know Nevada can't afford to have our transportation dollars decreased by any means. I mean, we're already talking about $9 billion shortfall in transportation funding, and so we can't afford that. Texting is an issue. 30 states have done something about texting over the last few years, and just 2010, 12 states came up with texting laws, and we fought against it last session, but I think everyone in this House recognizes that the time is now to do something about it.
Okay, but there are a plethora of bills out there dealing with this called texting and driving and talking and driving and all of those things, and a lot of observers say, yeah, it'll pass the Assembly, but by the time it gets to the Senate, it's dead in the water.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I've looked at some of the Senate bills that have come across, and Senator Breeden and Senator Menendo. It appears that they have some support over there as well. I think we need to think about public safety and what that's doing to our communities as well. There's a large statistic out there about indigent care, and as it relates to people getting in accidents and not being able to afford their care. We're all paying for that, and so we have to address it.
Listen, you are right in the middle of the foray. You are, when I look at your committees, I go, oh my. I mean, you are Chair of Commerce and Labor, you are on Ways and Means, you are on Transportation. You're right in the middle of the fray in all of this. It is going so fast. You and I talked before we got on the show. It seems like May already, and it's not. Are you fearful that it's moving so fast?
I'm not fearful. I think the way that we have set up this session and our leadership has set up this session is to begin at a very fast pace. We wanted our constituents to know that we are going to take this session very, very seriously, because it is an important session. We have a budget deficit. This year we're redrawing districts, and there's a whole lot of other things. There's jobs bill out there. We're trying to get our Nevadans back to work. And so we wanted to send a strong message in the beginning of the session that we were working, and that we were working early, and we were going to take this 120 days very, very seriously, so that we can, one, try to end on time, and two, accomplish the things.
You have a lot of freshman lawmakers in your house, a lot of freshman lawmakers in your house. It's going to hold you back? Set you straight?
I don't think so. This group they're not like we were some years ago when I was first elected. This is a very, very unique group, and I think that, and to their end and to our end, I think we've done a lot with them in the interim to prepare them for this, and I don't think some of us had that, but they're certainly getting an opportunity that we did not have because of term limits and other things and how they got here. But I think they're a lot further ahead than we were.
What few words can you tell people at home sitting and watching going, oh my God, what's going to happen to us?
What I can tell them is to be patient. And I know people are running out of patience because our economy is not what it used to be. But the one thing that I tell people, and I tell even in my own district, stop looking for Nevada to return to what it was 5 or 6 years ago. We are going to shift as a state, and we're going to need our citizens to shift with us.
Be patient. Thank you very much for being with us. It's been delightful. I appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow, and until then, have a safe day. Don't text when drive.
This is the Nevada Legislature 2011, brought to you by the Nevada State Telecommunications Association and Charter Communications. Go to www.leg.state.nv.us.